So today I have with me my wife, Estee, of 1 year. So it's of the bonus episode of Architecture Siol podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so Estee is my wife of 1 year and she is a nurse in NUS. NUH.
NUHS and UH what?
Same lah. Okay. But anyway, so
So-
I'm an architect. Yeah, it's meant to be casual, right? And I
okay.
hope that this episode we can actually break down the barriers between misconceptions, observations, and also maybe we can learn from one another, different industries, in terms of digitalization, in terms of knowledge sharing, and in terms of collaborations within the industry. We can compare and see how different industries like the healthcare industry versus the architecture industry is performing, and we can see how we can draw lessons from one another. So maybe we can start by going to the very basic of meeting me, right? What was your first impressions of, firstly, me as a husband, and then secondly, also as an architect, right? And you can see the different habits and the routines and the things that I do as an architect. Maybe before meeting me, we had some preconceptions, and maybe right now you have some different ideas or different realizations that you want to share today.
Before I met you, my idea of an architect is you just do designing. So you just design the structures, the buildings. You hand it over to developer companies, and they will just build the buildings. So you're just so we do. I don't know the back end. How much you actually do in the admin work or like. Things that we don't see, the public doesn't see. So that's pretty similar to nursing. So the public don't really see what nurses do. So most public really think that we just clean sheet and then we don't do much. But actually there's a lot of critical thinking involved in nursing. So like we are the gatekeepers of the healthcare industries because we are the last contact person for the patients. Like we serve medicines, so we know everything about the medicine before we give it to the patient. Before the patient go for a procedure, we need to make sure this is the correct patient going, the correct limb that the doctor is going to operate on before we
Very
send
important.
the patient. Yeah, so which is quite similar to what architects do. They are like the gatekeepers of the buildings.
The building itself.
Yeah, the buildings. Because without y'all, there's no design. Firstly, and then y'all. When the building is being constructed, you guys have to be the one who troubleshoot or like prevent any of all these issues from coming up. So that's quite similar to nursing too. So sometimes medicines when doctor prescribe already, sometimes there might be some overlooked. So it really takes a nurse to prevent such error from going into the patient. So same thing like architects, yeah, and then.
And I think this also ties into the fact that what value do we bring to the patients in your case, and what value do architects bring to the building developers, the users, as well as the occupants of the building. And then you mentioned about your main goal as a nurse or a healthcare worker is to ensure that patients' lives are not at risk, right? And also to recover or to maintain in a certain stabilized condition. But for us architects, it's a bit different because we are not dealing with lives per se. Even though we have to make sure that the buildings are safe to occupy and no one jumps down the building and falls down, right, due to no railings or whatsoever. So that is a more indirect effect for us, and it's not really tangible because nobody can really see what we do as architects. So you mentioned about not knowing about what we do actually. Maybe you can share a little bit about what were the surprising things that you realized that we actually do as well?
So I think after knowing you, I realized that there was a lot of unnecessary paperwork that you had to deal with, which I'm grateful that the healthcare industry has moved on to electronic digitalisation. Yeah, so I think that's one thing the architecture industry can improve on. Like for us, even though now Singapore is moving towards a nationwide hospitalization system. So actually we adopted this system from US and then we make it to our local system. So that's one thing architecture can look at, even though.
So all of the hospitals in Singapore, including the private, are also using the system or no? Still in progress?
In progress, but that's part of the government's planning stage So now most government tertiary hospitals are using the same system. Yeah, so you're slowly going to expand out to more, even GPs and all that, so that we do not get the interference of information, missing information, which is what I think happens in your case as well as an architect, because like certain information doesn't go to certain agencies or certain government platforms. So it becomes double work. You have to submit 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah, I think she's referring to Connect. So there's so currently architects, we have to send to different authorities one submission and then another authority another submission, and that could actually conflict with different authorities, and then we have to go and troubleshoot one authority A and authority B, like DCA and URA. So all this paperwork, actually there's a saying that we architects design only with the time we take, it's only 5% of our time. And then the other part of it is just to convince somebody about the design, or to supervise on site, or to even make sure that the paperwork is in order, like contract documents and tender documents. So all this
can be centralized data.
It could be centralized in a way, right?
So that was one issue we had with, like, let's say private versus public hospital. We do have access to private hospitals' data, but sometimes when private patients they come to public hospital, we do not know what was being done to them, what medicine was given to them. So it's actually quite dangerous if, let's say, we do not know any of the history.
So what was the turning point? What caused this? Was it a top-down approach that the managed MOH said?
So MOH did a great part in moving the entire country into digitalization. But when I'm from NUH, when I was a student, we are still using paper. But when I joined the industry after graduating, they already start using their own digital systems.
So in school you mean like internship, like
during my internship,
the attachment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So almost all hospitals are using paper, but NUH has moved on to their creating their own digital system already at 2015.
So NUH they were the first hospital to do it. NUH.
I cannot say that they're the first, but from what I know, that was the first hospital that I know that are using their own.
So you actually had a glimpse of the pre-digitalization and also post-digitalization.
Yes.
So how much time was saved in your opinion? Like
I think
a rough percentage?
Yes, I think a lot of things is easier, it's more clear. Like doctors do not have to go all the way. Let's say one building has 6 floors, right? The doctor is at level 6. He has to come to level 2 just to write something for this patient. He has to prescribe the medicine. So actually, with digitalization, he can just do it at the comfort of where he was, and orders are being faster. So sometimes last time it's like manual snail paper lah.
It's hand deliver. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have to wait for prescription and all this stuff. So a lot of delay. It's potentially delaying patient care as well. So with digitalization, it's done with a click. And then from our end, we have to check lah. But communication still has to occur between the doctor and nurse. If it's urgent, they still have to call us personally to inform us this is urgent to execute it now.
So there's still this chain of command still set in place even to today. But it's just a matter of the time that you've taken to transfer information is much faster and it's more accurate, right?
Yes.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's more accurate in the transcription of data, and then you don't really. Like, it's easier to pinpoint, not say a mistake lah, but it's black and white. It's so much easier than paper because
there's no ambiguity.
No ambiguity. Yes, So I think it makes the industry a lot easier to work with and a lot faster. Yeah, even though digitalization has its cons, like let's say no network, all these things, but there's a backup in place. We have apps that function when there is downtime. So even without network, there's backup data.
Like local intranet kind of thing. It doesn't require Wi-Fi.
No, so they will have all information. Let's say today, right now, suddenly there's no Wi-Fi. Singapore,
it's a backup, is it?
Backup. There's a backup data system or app, computer app that is available. So all the patients' all medicines, all notes, all documentation is in the app. But it's not live lah. It's not a live data. So whatever from the downtime onwards is not a live data.
But it's good enough to at least continue with the operations, right?
Yes, to continue with operations. So that's one good thing about digitalization. Whereas paper, you have to dig out and
but it sounds well thought out, because you really have to think about not only just the system that you're going to use, but also what are the backup mechanisms are in place. Make sure that the protocols are in place. That's my concern actually with my industry, because we are moving too fast with the digitalization efforts and there's no backup lah. What I observe, and I think what many architects observe, is the CONNET submissions, right? Sometimes it's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of errors with the new portal. So I know BCA is trying to make sure that it works smoothly. They have just launched CONNET 1 was like for the longest time, right? Until last year it was CONNET 2, then they were releasing CONNET X. So between 1 and 2 was like 1 year, 1 year from today, that means last year lah. Then 2 to X was like another 1 year. And X is quite a big significant change. But currently even 2, right, is still having some problems. So that we really have to make sure that, like what you said, like the backup mechanisms, the protocols, what happens if all the system fails, who can submit, how can we submit documents to the authorities.
So when digitalization started, it also has its downtime. It didn't function straight away. So there was a lot of piloting involved. So they pilot in 1 ward, 2 wards before they expand out. So there's one thing maybe the architect BCA can consider, like looking at backup data. That's one. Piloting in smaller firms, smaller projects first. Make sure everything goes well. Check all the bugs before implementing to all, because it's gonna be a hassle if you implement to all with a bug. You're impeding everybody's work.
I think currently now is a voluntary submission stage lah. So they actually begun the CONNET X, which is the submit to only one authority model. That one is started I think last month, in December 2023. So that was a big shift, but they are proposing to actually fully launch it and to mandate it by about, I think, 2025. So there's still 2 years lah, but I hope, given all of these like time to rectify all the bugs, quite similar to yours lah, it is quite smooth now, I would say, for yours. Not that much of a downtime.
There are downtime, but largely the system works, and then it's a lot of just habits.
There's no surprises lah, basically.
Now you might feel that it's a torture to submit online, but I think you'll appreciate it when the time comes, because it really saves you a lot of work.
So
at first, people, it's like behavioral change takes time. People are always not used to new stuff, especially with digital gadgets and all that. But over time, I think as you get used to it, you're exposed to it, I think you learn to appreciate it lah. And then I think it has to be user friendly firstly lah. So that's one thing to look at.
So you mentioned about user friendliness. Make sure that the backup protocols are in place. How would the transition, like, because I understand there's like different generations of workers lah, like your generation and those older than you, those younger than you. You are an IT champion, so maybe you can share a little bit more about you as a trainer, like how was the process like? Were the older generation a bit, tell me a bit about that.
So one thing that how we roll out with digitalization in hospitals is there will be a leader. So the leader will be in like those MOH meetings, for example, with the BCA. So it's like your SIA with BCA, they will talk first, they will discuss first. Then there will be people under them who will be the one who test out the systems, then give out feedback. And then we will also pilot in a small ward. So whatever is being piloted in the small ward is like on the ground already. So let's say it decides to pilot in Firm A. So only Firm A is testing out the system. So that is like feedback from Firm A, you will know what to improve on or what to feedback on. So same thing here, they roll out in one ward to get live feedback on the ground first before we expand to others. Then after that, then you will train every single ward, means like every single firm, there should be 1 person to 2 person who is the trainer, who is like the specialty,
like the champion
expertise for the system.
Okay.
The champion for the system. So they will train the champion, and then the champion will go back to the ward, or even like we will have training schedules. For, let's say, trainers will take turn to train different people from different wards, a mixture of people. So then we will also highlight, let's say I'm in this ward, I will know who are weaker in technology. So we will highlight all these people. So they will probably, so one class we won't have so many of those.
So they batched it by what you think your skill level is lah.
Yes.
Or the receptiveness, or like even their propensity to take things
so
easily.
One class will not have 5, let's say one class of 10. half the class shouldn't be weak students.
Or like grade A, grade B, C.
Yeah,
grade C.
like you grade them like grade A, B,
Okay,
C.
okay.
So one class will be a mixture so that you don't slow down the class,
Yeah.
or there are actually grade A people helping the grade C people to learn.
Yeah.
So as a trainer, it's not so tough on the trainer. It's like one class of students, you cannot have all bad apples, you're gonna die.
It will take a very long time to finish a class.
Yes, it's gonna take a long time to finish a class,
Yeah.
and then the bad apples are just gonna influence each other. So that's one thing to consider when you conduct training. So you can have a mixture of skill mix. So let's say you pair a good one with a weaker one, then they can, during the class, even if the weaker one is slower, the faster learner can actually help the weaker one in class. That's what we actually do lah.
So this seems quite intentional, which is really good. And
Yeah.
what we can learn as
Yeah.
architects, because I see now the trainings that are ongoing. Firstly, they're not free. They have to. I think there's some subsidy. Companies have to pay money to go for these trainings. It's also not very clear what we're learning about. I mean, we do know there's some new concepts, like the new information they put into the model, like they call it IFC. Basically, it's like a protocol of adding information. Let's say, for example, a floor, right? In 3D model, if you previously just a 3D geometry, like a shape in the model. But then now we have to include details like how thick the floor is, what is the material, what reinforcements are there. So it's a lot of different like text data or number data embedded into the model. So imagine the whole building has all this information, and then that also requires a lot of upfront collaboration.
So what I think that you can do is you create a template, a standard template that you just have to fill in numbers for the model. So it's a standard model building. That, let's say you have type A, B, C lah. They create all these standard building models.
Yeah.
Then you fill up. They have in that standard model there is a standard template size which you can edit, and the system will do it for you. Will churn up the 3D model for you.
Yeah, I do see that happening in some, to some extent there is, but now it's just too many elements.
Yeah, so you have to look into every single element and improve on. Because
I think the streamline
when
also,
we implemented, it's not all, everything is there. It's only when we use the system
it's
that
a more
we
progressive
realize
kind of thing.
progressive thing.
Okay.
So but majority of what we need should be there when they roll out the entire system. Yeah, the rest is just that 5% that probably certain specialty area needed it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so but most of it should be 90% everybody can use. It should work for everyone. Yeah.
That could be a problem for us lah. I think because it's a lot of, firstly it's a lot of elements to think about, embedding information into each element of the building. Then secondly, there's too many elements. Because there's too many elements.
So you have to think
then we have to cater
how
each element to each authority in the same model. But it's like, wow, so many different notations and like spelling of the keywords to assign to different authorities. Like, wow. So that is still a progress lah. It's still work in progress.
So you need to think of how to harmonize laws. Because if our new system actually is being shared with tertiary hospitals, so which is like your KTPH, your TTSH, your SGH. So we sometimes certain assessment tools we use are different. So in the flow sheets, actually it provides, it caters to the different tools that we use. So you just have to select. Let's say I use tool A, so tool A will flow out the rest. Then if let's say SGH use tool B, so when we click tool B, it will come out tool B. So something like that, something expandable. Some option that is expandable to help make their work easier lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is, so we need to make sure that it's also scalable and the concept is easy to understand, so that you can actually replicate it for different processes lah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think then reducing the paperwork between different authorities is one thing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate goal lah.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the good and bad about digitalization lah.
Yeah.
And because I think we are still at the start of it lah. So for yours it's a bit more advanced already. Like you already have a system in place, but for us we're just at the start of it. So that is actually not the start lah. I think it's the second cycle already. So we used to have one digitalization wave, but now it's a second wave already. It's a more significant wave.
Yeah, so maybe you all can look into training the trainer So we call it training a trainer. So you can train one person, two person to be the specialty special
It means
expert.
assign one person from the company and then send them for course.
Yes.
Then bring them back.
Bring them back. Yeah. So it depends on the group size that in your company. Let's say your company of 50 people, maybe you every 10 people you want to have one trainer. So maybe you have 5 trainers in that company.
What's the ratio like? Do you think it's the best? Like one trainer to how many people?
Currently in my ward is 1 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like how often do you do this? Like and the class size is 20, right?
Yeah, about 10 to 20-ish.
Then how long per class? How many times?
It really depends on your
skill level.
Your digital requirement.
Okay. Let's say for yours.
The course that we took was 3 days. So the whole thing required 3 days. That's the amount of information we need to feed them. So there's booklet on how to do. They can bring home to follow that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's one thing you can look at. Having
have a structured curriculum.
Manual or structured curriculum.
Oh, yes, it's important to also...
What are the things to focus on in this app that you need for your everyday submission?
Oh, okay. So you also need important to document the curriculum also. So let's say if you teach something and then they want to refer back, there is something to look back to, right?
Yes.
So this system came from US?
We
or it's part of...
Okay, so previously NUHS is using our own. They developed their own, I think with TTSH. They are using some similar tools for digitalisation. But then we adopted this one from the US. So US is using this system for their nationwide. So we adopted it and then we localized it. I think we brought over the software and then we make it localized. So far it's good. At first a lot of people were against it, especially those who are not used to technology. They're so used to the old software. They don't want to move to the new software. But over time, habits, behavioral change takes time. So I think with positive mindset on digitalization and the trainers are being positive role models, that's one thing to drive the change. Everybody should be positive about it, even though it's tough. But I think over time we will all appreciate. Nobody likes to do paperwork, like literal paperwork.
So just curious. So those people who really hated that change, and they're still here, right? I mean, they're probably still here doing the work, right? And they're doing the new system now, right? Do you see them more positive now, or like do they appreciate the change at least?
At least they can function in their day-to-day work. Maybe like sometimes 1 or 2 struggles with certain things that they are not familiar with, or they don't come across every day. Or they kind of forgot about it.
But in general, it's a positive change for everybody, even for those who are struggling at the start.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone, they are forced to do it, but
technically forced to do it, but
but I think with habits, behavioral change, and people who are willing to help. So that's one thing. So I heard Gabriel complain a lot about maybe not being
like collaborative
within the industry. So one good thing about nursing, I don't say for all, but in NUH, what I personally experienced is they are very good. They value teaching. They value imparting of skills and knowledge, and then they also focus on preceptorship. So it's compulsory for new staff, regardless of, let's say I come from the normal ward, then I go down to the ICU, I need to be trained, right? So even though I'm an experienced nurse in normal ward, when I go to the ICU, a new place, I still get to have probation period of, let's say, 3 months.
Oh, to assimilate into the...
Yes, and to learn.
And there's somebody there to guide you.
Yes, within that 3 months, I have a specific preceptor to teach and guide me.
But the preceptor it will be there with you doing the work.
Yes.
Not like those hands-off one, right?
No, not hands-off. Even though my preceptor may not be in the same duty as me, I'll be attached to someone. I'll be buddying someone all the time. But maybe nursing-wise, is because life and death is involved. So we really
have to make sure that the new staff is actually well trained, right? Before you let go and let them do it independently.
Yes, but not even though, let's say in architecture or any industry, I think preceptorship matters because you need to. It's really one thing important value now for all new young adults They want to be valued, they want to be guided, they want to learn. But if let's say someone doesn't want to guide, it confirms the young adult will have a shift of mindset. They will be they will feel negative. They feel like, oh, this person don't want to guide me, or this firm is not good. Yeah, there's no teaching, there's no nothing. Why should I stay here? There's no development, there's no progression, there's no moral in staying.
The problem is some of the firms, especially the smaller ones, they don't have enough time to mentor the fresh grad. So the fresh grad is really thrown into it, like knees deep and everything, and they are expected to learn by themselves or to find the answers by themselves. So that could be like what you say, like it's very important to share, find time to share, and also make sure that the fresh grad who's entering your firm, or maybe your colleague who's entering your firm, and has the opportunity to seek guidance from either you or maybe when the boss asks you to help, help lah. Yeah.
Because I think it's important, and it really affects the retaining of workers. I see a lot of nurses leave too because they feel that they were not being valued. Yeah, they are not so good preceptors who do not guide as well, or their way of teaching may not work for them. Yeah, so I think in architecture, even though not say it's life and death, that's why you don't guide them. But I think it overall, in my shoes, if I were a senior architect and I need a young architect to help me, I will definitely guide the young architect, because I need him to help me with my work. If he's delaying my work, if he doesn't know how to do, then what's the point? I'm doing more work, and then I get more stressed out because he delays my work.
It's the investment you give. Because sometimes unfortunately sometimes when the fresh grad, you spend time to mentor this fresh grad, and then he leaves the company. Then I think more and more you realize, is it really worth it to go and spend this time again with another fresh grad to help?
Yes. So that's what I perceive when I have new nurses under my hand. I will want to guide them well, so that in the future they also can help me. We help each other. So I do not want a non-functional staff around. So I think no matter how busy you are, I think when a new staff come and ask you for help, do not turn them down. I think it really sets the tone or in their minds whether do they want to stay in the company.
Very wise words indeed. So you actually went on to the next topic, which is great, because we talk about I think recognition and also like collaborations and knowledge sharing. I think you touched about all three somewhat, but maybe we dive deeper into recognition first. So for yourself, I think healthcare industry has really got a recognition in COVID, right? And maybe you can elaborate a bit more about your experiences as a nurse before COVID. Like, how do people perceive maybe do they recognize you? Is there any change in attitude towards you all post-COVID? Maybe start with that.
The difference is actually quite big, because before COVID, sad to say, not all patients will come in say thank you to us. Well, after COVID, majority of patients found that we do a lot of work, like great work. Then they really appreciated us in terms of words. Not just because I think it matters a lot being appreciated in the industry. It really keeps me from staying. Sometimes I look back on the days that I'm burnt out, then the days that I see,
they have to wear the PPE, the whole time through COVID.
So I think no matter which industry, words of affirmation is quite important to prevent burnout. How later it might be, maybe your words today can change their minds on staying. So some days I see my patient getting well, then it's a sense of fulfillment. It warms my heart. So and then before COVID, there are still people who are grateful, but maybe not as much or not as vocal about it. Only after COVID. So I personally did not receive any negative notions before COVID, but I do have people questioning my job, my nature of job. On what I do and all that. So I'll take this chance to say, nurses do not just clean shit. Even when we see your shit, we will see whether is it healthy shit or not. Yes, there's a lot of science and medical things that we see. We also learn everything about medicines and procedures and all this. So is a lot of knowledge. Yeah, so that we spend a lot of time learning also. Yeah.
So thankfully, due to COVID, you all became more appreciated and also more recognized and also remunerated well. Yeah, so there's no surprise lah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah, so for architects it's a bit different lah. Anyway,
I think
but actually when you say about words of affirmation, there's also remuneration, which is a push factor to leave the industry or a pull factor to stay, right? So to what extent do you think words of affirmation versus money, salary?
okay. So because I'm a NUS nursing graduate, my starting pay isn't that it's still quite
It's still
competitive.
okay, yeah.
It's still quite a competitive salary amongst graduates. But for those who are not, for nurses, they are really underpaid. Yeah, they are very, very underpaid. So with COVID, it really helped with the remuneration. Yeah, so it really increased the, I don't know, like I don't have any colleagues telling me their pay, but I know that
But they still stay on lah. I mean,
they
most
still
of them stay on
Yeah,
lah.
most of them stay on, and they are grateful for the extra bonuses and recognition from MOH. So we appreciate it a lot, whether it's it money or recognition. Yeah.
Actually, you receive both kind of recognitions, right? The
Yeah.
monetary and the non-monetary
Yes.
recognition in some way, right?
Yes, so that matters a lot lah. So I think, but then remuneration may be one factor for especially foreigners who needs money. So if you have remuneration, they're most likely going to stay on. Like locals, they're also looking at remuneration because expenses living in Singapore is not cheap.
Not cheap, yeah.
Yes, and things are getting more expensive, but yet our salary is not like increasing as fast as it should. Yeah, so I think architects are being underpaid. I heard
That's a
that.
fact.
Yeah, I hear that they OT a lot, and they are really underappreciated in the firms or in general.
And also the money is not trickled down.
Yeah, money is not being trickled down the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's time to review. Yeah. Can I say that? Cannot.
Yeah, Minister. Yeah, and I believe there are some talks and conversations about pay and salary, but it's not fast enough. I think I think the problem, right, is actually how we communicate our value. So it's a value communication problem for us because nobody knows what value we bring, and they think they can do what we do.
Yeah, so
And they question everything we do, basically.
yes. So basically you are like nurses also. You receive shit from the contractor, you receive shit from clients, so you receive shit from the authorities. It's like us receiving shit from patients, from doctors, from family. So
But we're the ones who clear the shit, you know?
Yeah, we are the ones who clear the shit. So so that's very similar. So I think y'all needs the remuneration. I think y'all need to speak up more. Yeah, in terms of industry to get the public knowledge awareness on what you actually do. So with all the nursing TV shows all this, it created awareness. And then also COVID happened. Not that it takes a building to fall. maybe yeah, people, especially BTOs. Nowadays
The problem is because you all don't see the potential problems.
Yes, you don't see the progress, you don't see what happens back end.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to open up what happens actually, especially like your BTO, like BTOs, people are like taking things for granted. Yeah, like the building, although not all buildings are perfect.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be certain limitations to the building. And it's like example rain splash to the corridor. That's common because your corridor is obviously not shielded all the way. Sometimes the rain is slanted, so that's beyond human control. It's nature. Or like,
but part of it is also regulated by the developer lah. So it's not we as an architect are just we have certain requirements to meet from them. And
yes, I understand your requirements. So once the requirement is being met, whatever happens is actually sometimes nature, which is like your rain splash.
It's like wind-driven rain, for example.
Yeah. So wind-driven rain and all that. So it's not controllable, and then sometimes it's heavy rain. Even no matter how many drains you put, it's just gonna flood because there's so much rain.
And there's climate change as well.
Yeah, climate change. So
Flash flood.
Yeah, flash floods. So I can understand that you cannot blame because if let's say a new BTO is in an old mature estate, you cannot blame the BTO for flooding because maybe it's the surrounding estate doesn't have well drainage, then it floods the area.
They have to upsize the other drains also.
Yeah, they have to upsize the other drains. So this is something that
Even she
locals-
understands.
Yeah,
Even she understands.
Hello, common sense humans. I mean Singaporeans.
Yes.
Oops, don't kill me.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
So yeah, I think people don't think of other perspective of things. Yeah, they just take it like granted lor. That's very sad lah for Singapore. Yeah, which I hope our newer generation can have a
I
different
think that's why
perspective
I
of
also
things.
through this platform and through this podcast aim to share how much effort and consideration we put in place. Even like the new rubbish chute, right? For example, I think I talked to you about it before. It's a vacuum suction to the nearby bin center, but the problem is not actually a design problem. It's actually just a human error, behavior problem. You don't throw long poles into a chute expecting it to bend in the pipe. It's like it's a very thin and long objects that are obviously not designed for it. There are signages outside, and somehow the architects get to blame. So that is also very quite sad to see.
Yeah.
A lot of misconceptions, a lot of things that they think that it must be perfect. They claim that the money they pay for has to be perfect design. I mean, not excluding the fact that it should be strive to be perfect, but there's a time limit. Must understand there's a time limit for design. Maybe the developer didn't give enough time for this. They were rushing the architect. There's a lot of different background and causations of these current issues we face post occupancy.
Yeah. So that's one thing I hope people can understand more. Yeah, don't just go to the MP or town council for just because you want it at your convenience. I mean yes, as a resident I want a walkway, but that doesn't mean it must happen. It's just because it's easier for you. There's a lot of consideration just to put a walkway for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I didn't know until I met April. But I hope everyone can just have a lot of consideration for everyone, regardless of industry.
We are trying our best. I mean, I think one of the main issues we face as an industry is there's no open standards to design guidelines and design standards, even to performance requirements. So there's different ways of designing linkways. There's different ways of designing a walkway or even connectivity within the site. So that is still very ambiguous lah. So that is one. Like I say, for example, if your industry, there are SOPs to follow for every single thing, right?
Yeah.
For us, there's still opportunity to deviate and like not even be enforced. We're not sharing the best practices, even among firms. Within firms, maybe can. Yeah, within firms, I see best practices being shared, but across the whole industry, that, like I think you mentioned to me before as well, like it's all private firms, and then there's IP, there's all these. I want to be the better architect but when you think about it, just myopically, that results in, firstly, you have brain drain, right? People are leaving the company, that talented people are leaving the company, and then you just do, there's some things that happening in the background, but it's fine. Then what was I saying? Then the brain drain is happening, and then the more we don't share openly, the more the brain drain is like multiplied across the firms.
So everyone's just gonna struggle at the end of the day.
Actually, are the SOPs like the same for different hospitals?
Yes, it may differ, but largely the principles are the same. So you all should have, not you all should have, but in general we do have sharing of knowledge in a sense, because when let's say they go for advanced diploma, they actually, when they do the internship, they are doing internship in other hospitals, not their own hospital. So
it must be different hospital.
Yeah, sort of. So they learn from another hospital, and then they bring back to their own hospital, and then they exchange practice this way. So that's one thing lah. But the hospitals
were there also like top down like announcements like MOH wants all hospitals to do this way?
There are certain things, like example COVID. So COVID protocols come from MOH lah.
Okay.
Like the visitation policy, all these things are from MOH. So in terms of like, let's say global pandemic, it will be from MOH. However, like certain procedure within the hospital is like still hospital level lah. It's still hospital level, but within the hospital level, it shouldn't vary that far from another hospital, because the technique it should be the same lah.
Yeah.
Like architectural, it should be the same. Maybe just the design maybe is slightly different, but the way your concept is the same. So it shouldn't stray away too far from your concepts.
The principles lah.
The principles.
Yeah. I believe the principles are there for my industry, but it's not well known, firstly. Secondly, is there are different principles. And depends on which one you choose. There's still some debate about it. Yeah. It's not really set in stone yet, so that could be explored. And then lastly is also the top down versus the bottom up. Who is proposing these changes? Who's proposing these standards? That's so very interesting to explore. Yeah.
So we in NUH we have a Unit Practice Council. So within the ward itself, there's a group of nurses. Okay, so we will nominate people to be our voices. Yeah. So let's say we voted for these 5 people. So they will, if any ground issues, we will highlight to these 5 people. They will have a meeting and discuss within themselves.
Yep.
If that decision cannot be made at their level, it will be escalated to another level, which is at the ward level. So one person will be the chairperson out of the 5. Then this chairperson will meet, let's say I'm from the ICU, right?
Yeah.
All the other ICUs head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then they will discuss whether is it okay to do it in all the ICUs to standardize the practice. Yes. Then if cannot, we will go level up again to the management council level. So they will discuss again whether is it okay to do it for all. Yes, to standardize the practice.
Oh, okay. So there's a bottom up, there's also a top down. Yeah.
Yes.
We need both actually. Yeah. We need both.
Yeah. So although not everything from the ground is being accepted lah, but there's
there is
one
still an
way
avenue to present it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and room for improvement lah. Maybe they can bring it up, and then next time they can review to make it a top down thing lah. Because maybe the top down didn't see it. Then when we brought up the issue, but they cannot solve it immediately, but gradually over time they may help us resolve it as a whole unit.
Yeah. So there has to be a system in place within the firms and also within the industry.
Yeah.
So within firms, top down, bottom up.
Yes.
Then across firms, yes. Even allowing the lowest of people to also have a voice, that will be very important. Yeah, and also opportunities between the top and the bottom to actually discuss the pros and cons of changing things or setting things in place. Yeah, so that's what I draw from you as well, which is quite interesting and worth exploring next time. Yeah. So maybe just to close off this episode, right? We talk about what you think about hospital designs. Yeah. So you work in a hospital. You are familiar with the layouts.
Yes.
Have you worked in different hospitals before?
No, mainly only at NUH.
But different wards, different
wards,
different layouts.
layout. So when I started out, I was in the private A-class normal ward, general ward. So one good thing was all the consumables, all the machines are centralized in the ward. So it's an O shape, and then in the center is the storeroom.
Okay,
in a way, storeroom.
The hub, the center
the
part.
hub, yeah.
Okay.
The storeroom and everything. So from every direction, it's the same amount of steps, kind of, to assess the storage.
So that's a good thing, right?
So it's a good thing. It saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
It saves a lot of walking, because nurses do a lot of walking back and forth everywhere.
Yes.
So I really
value
it.
They really value the design, the layout has to be very, very efficient.
Yeah, efficient.
To your routines, right? Not to the patient's routines.
Yeah,
actually.
To us, because we are the one who has to retrieve the
yeah, they're the ones walking, not patients. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so then after I went to the ICU. So different ICU has different layout. So but my ICU had 3 different storage rooms. So one for equipment. In the center there is not exactly at the center. At the side there's the dirty utility, which is all the dirty, we throw away all the dirty.
The bio waste.
Bio waste.
Okay.
And on the other end there's a clean utility, which must be all mostly sterile items.
Okay.
And then on the other end of the ward there's another storage room for consumables. So I have to go 4 points just to do my work.
Okay, I see where this is going. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the walking distance, let's say I have to a very sick patient come down, I have to go to 3 different places. One to take the machine, one to take consumables, one to take clean sterile items. So I have to go 3 areas.
And they're all spread out in different
Yes.
areas.
So it's like the Bermuda Triangle. I have to walk all 3 Bermuda Triangles just to go into the black hole, into the patient's room. So
Okay, I see. So yeah,
Yes,
so it's
so
really
it's-
important for the proximity as well as the sequence of spaces.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is it cause like, okay, you definitely have to separate out the bio waste and the sterile area. That's what I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why the machine and consumables has to be on different areas.
Okay.
Actually, there's room to park into one area. So, because at the consumer area, the next door is where the doctors, on-call doctors sleep. So
Okay.
there's definitely room as storage room.
Yeah.
So you just convert the machine room to be the doctor's sleeping room lah, on-call room. Then we gather like condense into one area.
I guess probably there's some mechanical ventilation things in place lah.
I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know about that lah.
Maybe
so,
you can't do it now, but at least for future or maybe.
Yeah, for those who are planning on how to build hospitals,
Yeah.
please think of your nurses' walking steps. Please, as much as possible, centralize things so you don't walk back and forth for items.
It's
Yeah.
actually more important to plan for nurses, right, instead of patients.
Yes.
Like in terms of the ward itself.
Yes, the
But if you're
general
talking
ward
about
layout.
pharmacy, you're talking about consultation, then yeah, different lah, patients.
Yeah. So in the ward itself is, and also patient lah, but then
They're the ones stuck there. But
as in there are patients who can ambulate, but depending on the layout of the area lah. I mean like.
Depends on the ward also, right?
Yes,
The
so but
ICU
in
or
general,
ward.
because if let's say in general ward, usually there's one cubicle and one toilet. So that's simple.
Yeah.
But your consumables can be like on the other end. Like let's
So
say
you
there's so many cubicles, like 6 rows of cubicles.
How far is too far, you think?
How far? I
You
think it's
really-
just in the middle. It should just be in the middle of the ward. It shouldn't be anywhere.
I-
So that it's fair for everyone to go.
I'm sure there's some distance requirements lah. Maybe the newer and there are more details lah. Maybe last time not so detailed lah. Maybe
Yeah, but I do understand you to separate the flammables, non-flammables and stuff, but why it worked from my private work, why doesn't it work here?
yeah, maybe
So
was
I
it
don't
older? Is it
understand.
older?
It's an older ward.
Probably
lah,
that's why lah. Yeah.
So that's one thing we should. I mean,
I
architects
mean, it's
should
important
consider.
to also check in with the nurses every single stage lah. Maybe like when you design, then after if you do another project, right, then it's important to check in with the current
the
staff.
ground nurses
Yeah, the ground nurses, not
who
the
actually need to walk.
not the high management, you know. So it's also important to understand the dynamics lah of the people working in the wards. So yeah, I think the proximity, the sequence of spaces, and then the routines of the nurses, depending on which ward you are at lah. So not all wards are the same also, I suppose. Yeah.
So it feels like when they plan the area, it feels like it's like they are trying to squeeze the area based on the number of beds.
Oh, okay.
Then they pack all the other storage areas. But I think it's good to consider where you're going to put your storage areas, then you pack the beds.
I'm sure they have some minimum area requirements for the beds lah. They also want to squeeze as many as possible lah.
Yeah lah.
So at the expense of
So-
maybe the functional spaces that are
Yeah.
not the ward itself, maybe just the ancillary spaces lah. So
Yeah.
that could be maybe explored next time. Maybe were you actually ever be involved in this sort of planning?
Not at my level currently. Yeah.
Maybe nobody even asked you guys about
Because I wasn't in the ward.
how do you feel about the ward layout?
No, as in I wasn't there during the planning stage of the ward layout, so there's no say lah. Yeah, I mean I don't know who was being talked to and all that, but personal experience in my current ward is I feel that walking space, and then sometimes when I go to another ward, it feels like it wasn't taught well upon like the steps that we have to take. Yeah, so that's
So
one
it's good to
thing.
map out the journeys of each nurse lah.
Yeah.
And then like maybe nurse A is doing this
Yeah.
this clean room to dirty room to consumables, and then map out and then you see what is the maximum distance you can give this person lah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So as much as possible, I feel that it should be equal distance from most places that people work at lah. Yeah, it's like your office to the pantry. You want your pantry to be near as possible lah. That kind of idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk about it next time in another video.
Yeah.
About your desired layout. That'll be fun actually.
Yeah, we can try and-
we can just try drawing.
Can try designing.
Yeah, we can try drawing out the layout next time lah. So stay tuned, right? And
Yeah.
I'll just close off this episode by just thanking you for joining me in this journey of podcasting. She's my #1 supporter. And yeah, if there's anything you want to write about the comments, maybe about her comments, you know, anything that you take offense to or agree with, please write down in the comments. And I look forward
to architects.
I look forward
Their pay.
I look forward to the next season.
More money for architects.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. See See you.
Okay, hope you enjoy.
When I see you.
What? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops. Did I spoil your ending?
No.